Sean here. So, everybody knows that Assetto Corsa dropped its version 1.9 update on us over the week, or this past week. What I want to talk about tonight is what effect is that going to have on our setups, especially the purchase setups that people pay for on the websites out there. I have a feeling, at least in my opinion and what I've noticed as far as my driving, is that it's going to have a huge effect on any setups, especially, at least with what I'm driving. I'm driving the Aston Martin, and from what I can tell, I'm having a lot more issues with this setup than I've ever had. So I'm not fast. Everybody knows, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm not fast yet. I'm still, one of the slowest cars on the track. I'm pretty safe, but I'm slow. That being said, I've seen a huge drop in my lap times on Zolder. I've been running Zolder the last 3 days, 4 days if you count Wednesday before they did the update. And I had gotten down into around 130 on my lap times, about 130. Haven't quite broken that yet, but I was right there. And since the update, I've had to basically trash the setup. And it's a setup I got from a large place. And I'm not going to say the name. It's not important, because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of groups selling setups online for, they're not expensive really, depending on what you're getting, but they're not terribly expensive. But the point is you're purchasing a setup, and you're purchasing it with the expectation that it's going to improve your lap time. They may still improve your lap time. I can't be the judge of what happens to you, but what I've seen is that my setups are basically, they're going to have to be reworked. So what I wanted to show you guys, these are the notes from KUNOS on the 1.9 update. And what I want to look at is the tire temperatures and the flex. So before, if you purchased a setup online from a company, you'd notice that your camber, especially the camber on your tires, was normally an extreme, like a negative extreme. Like if you could have it at 4.0, it would be 3.8. So your tires were, had a lot of turn to them, which is kind of, I think, an exploit of the game. Gamers were able to exploit the game in a way, not that it was a bad thing. It was allowed, so they were able to do it. So it is what it is. But it allowed you to run an extreme camber, and it helped with your grip. So I think that has been, with this update, that in particular thing is going to be an issue with the old setups. So, with it, what I noticed was that where they do have a wider range of tire temperature variability, my tire temperatures were all over the place with the old setup. So what I was having to do is I actually wound up starting with the safe setup, which everybody's like, don't use that, use the aggressive. But for me, I just wanted to try it. I had actually never driven on ACC with the safe setup. So what I did is I took the safe setup and I just started working with, I got my tire temperatures where they needed to be. And I couldn't tell you all the adjustments I've done, but I've done quite a few adjustments with the safe setup. And I'm actually getting close to where I was at on my lap times. I'm still not quite there. I'm not great at doing setups, so it's really all new to me. But that being said, I'm still working on it. But I want this to be kind of a precautionary thing. If you purchase setups and you are or you are thinking about purchasing a setup online, I would make sure before you purchase the setups that these setups are post 1.9 update. If it's pre 1.9 update, they're going to have to make adjustments to these setups to make them good. And I'm hoping that the place that I've gotten setups from, and the other ones out there will tell everyone, hey, we're updating these setups so that they're effective for the new 1.9 update, because they made a lot of changes on Assetto Corsa Competizione with this update, including the tires, how the heat, the alignment, the heat, the flex, the air pressures are different now. Bump stop, suspension travel is changed. They've actually worked on that. I am not going to go into details because a lot of it is stuff that I don't understand. It's pretty easy to read and understand what they're saying about it, but I don't understand everything about it. But they've got I'll add this in the description, this, so you can look over this if you want to, and it sort of gives you an idea of what they've done. They've made some improvements to the force feedback, the dampers, which that's way out of my league. I'm still unfamiliar with that. The electronics, they've made a lot of changes, but the big one for me was the suspension update that the update that they've done with the suspension and the tires. I do think that they've made a big change there, and it's definitely affected the paid setups that I've gotten. So, and I can only talk about 2 tracks that I've been on that I've really noticed it, and I've only been on the 2 since the update. I've been on Zolder and I've been on Monza, because Monza was probably my best track. I was running sub 150s at this point on it. I've gotten pretty decent at it. Last night when I went on to run a few laps at Monza, I was unable to break 152, and I was so loose in places that I had never been loose before with the Aston Martin, that there's definitely something that needs to be done with the setups, and I'm going to have to rework all of my setups now, and to make sure that I can at least run what I was running before. Nothing against the companies. They've done nothing wrong, but you guys, if you're out there and you're thinking about buying a setup, make sure before you buy it that it is after the 1.9 update, that they've created it after the 1.9 update, because if it's a pre 1.9 update, I don't want to tell you that it's going to be bad, but it's not going to be as good as you think it's going to be. We'll go back to the game now. I just wanted to show you this. I will add this in the description, in the notes, so everybody can go read this for yourself to see what exactly they've done with the tires and all that. So I don't want to beat a dead horse. Everybody's already done this. So I've got, right now on ACC, I've got a setup with the one of the setups that I got online. I'm not going to call out any names because the company that created it, they did a very good job with the setup when I got it. So I don't want to call them out. They've done a great job. I liked the setup until the update, and that's not their fault. So I'm just hoping that they'll update these. I'm still going to have to get it again if I want to. I think I'm going to stick with my new setup that I'm working on, because I've actually gotten it close. But I'm going to go through here. I'm going to do a few laps with the setup that I was using pre 1.9 update, and then we'll go to my new setup that I've been working on. So I'm at the warm-up lap. I've done 5 laps, but I went back to the pits. So I'm not going to do a lot of talking. I just want to see just right there how loose the car is. I mean, I got to get the tire temperatures back up above 25, 26. So they have a running temperature now between 26 and 27 PSI now. So they're giving you a wider range, but the effect that the tires are going to have on the car, it will also be larger depending on the setup and how you're using it. I never had that problem right there before, guys. And I don't know if it's just me or the setup. It may just be me. Maybe I forgot how to drive since Thursday, so I don't know. But let's see. Let me get this lap in and I'll get a good lap or two. But I don't want to call anybody out, because the companies that sell these, all the ones I've ever gotten were good setups previous to the 1.9 update. So And, you know, if somebody wants to nitpick my driving, that's fine. I know I suck. So I have yet to claim to be very good at this game. I just am still learning, so. I think that was my fault. See, right there, when I turn in there, the car is a lot looser than it was. I had never had any issues right there before. There is one thing that I forgot to do. I normally change my brake bias on this setup down to like 61.8, and I forgot to do that. So that throws that turn off a little bit. So let me do a lap. I mean, this isn't one of my stronger tracks, but I've been working on it a lot. That was my fault, but all right, so that is a few laps at here at Zolder. So let me go to my setup. I think this is the one. So I made some changes to this one, and this was one I created with the safe setup just because I wanted to try it. So let's do a few laps with this one. So guys, I'm not telling you don't buy the setups. Don't, you know, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying please be cautious, because I do feel like that there's going to be a lot of changes, and I mean I think these guys that are making them will come out with new ones pretty quickly. You can see right there, I was already smoother through there, and this is just the warm-up lap with this new setup. I know I shouldn't do that. I don't need to go into first gear there. I'm not new. I'm new, okay? Fairly new. It's still the warm-up lap. So I don't want to drive you guys into the ground with this tonight. I just wanted you to see what I'm dealing with. Ah, that was all me. All right, so here's a lap with my setup. All right, guys, here's a lap with the setup that I've been working on since the 1.9 update. All right, guys, here's a lap with the new setup since the 1.9 update. Now, it's not earth-shattering, but all I'm saying is that this is off of the safe setup, and I've done quite a bit of adjusting on it for me, but I'm shifting like an idiot. All right, so there you go. So that is the new setup that I'm using here on a set of Corsa Competition, and this is at Zolder. I'm not saying don't buy setups. I don't have an issue with that. All I'm saying is that if you're going to purchase a setup, make sure that this setup is post 1.9 update, because the old setups are definitely affected by this update. They're not as good as they were. There's going to be some reworking that these guys that create them are going to have to do, because I am literally able to take a setup. Now, I'm still not running as fast as I was. I got a 131 on that lap, but I'm not running the laps that I was. I was running a very consistent 130, 131 lap. Look, I know it's slow, but your lap times, I'll say this about setups. Setups will help you. They're going to make you faster. But I don't care how great the setup is. The setup by itself is not going to turn you into an all-star. When I first started the game, I thought, I need to get the setups. I need to get setups so I can run with the fastest cars. No great setup has made me faster. Obviously, as you can see, my lap times are not super. So what I'm telling you is that your setups are important, but they're not going to change. You're not going to see multiple seconds fall off of your lap time simply because you got a great setup. You'll see tenths of a second. You could probably see a second, but you're going to see your lap times improve as you improve as a driver more than they will just because you have a good setup. So be very wary of buying setups right now at this time, because of the 1.9 update. It has definitely made these setups not as great as they were. So that's all I've got to say about it tonight. I wanted to come on here. I wanted to run a few laps. I wanted you to see what I'm talking about. And I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I don't have any issue with purchasing setups, getting setups, whatever you want to do. I'm just saying right now with the new update, it's definitely changed a lot of the physics on the way the car handles, the way the car rides, the temperatures on the tires, everything that goes into setting the cars up has changed, I think, a lot. So just be mindful before you go purchasing a setup. Hopefully they'll put something on their websites of these companies or people that create setups saying that, we're working on these new setups. So be patient. And when we get new setups with this new update, they'll be good to go. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't yet, I'm sorry that this was as long as it was. I just wanted to get my point across. I am not upset with the update. I think the update is actually a great thing. I think they've done a lot of good things with the update. I'm really happy with it. I'm just saying, don't go out purchasing these setups unless you're absolutely certain that they are good for this update. I don't think that these older setups are going to be as good. Not saying they're not good, but they're not going to be as good. I noticed huge difference in my lap times between Wednesday to Thursday and Friday after the update dropped and was installed on my computer. My lap times are definitely not as good. The car was a lot looser in places that it had never been loose before. And the biggest thing I noticed was after, even when I would get my air temperatures or air pressures in the right zone between 26 and 27, my tire temperatures were really all over the place when you had the extreme camber, negative camber. So you're talking on one of my setups, the negative camber was 3.8 on the rear, and the tire temperatures, there was probably 20 degrees difference, and I was all over the place on the track. I think the tire temperatures probably had something to do with me sliding around. But, you know, that came from whatever KUNOS did in the update that changed the physics of the cars. I like it. I like what they've done. I like how the car handles now. I'm going to have to rework my setup, which is fine. I can deal with that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button, and I will see you guys on the next one. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. I'm out of here.